What's going on? Good morning. My name is Iceman. Welcome back to Falcon 4.0 Allied Force. Sorry for the wait. Sorry for the inactivity over the last week. Or last 2 weeks or so. I went on vacation and proposed to my girlfriend. She said yes. Yay. She said yes, and I also got accepted into my first job. So it's a win-win all the way around. So I'm super happy. So yeah. That said, let's get to it. So we just finished chapter 3, which was like navigation and landing, or what was it? Landing and navigation or something like that. I don't remember. But now we're on chapter 4, which is the fun stuff. And by the way, we obviously, well, except for the air-to-air refueling, we've done all the like non-weapon type stuff. But now we're getting into the weapons. So chapter 4, air-to-air weapons, the fun stuff. So let's do it. These training missions will teach you about the F-16's radar and let you practice delivering specific weapons. Okay, so we're on mission 13, air-to-air radar modes, okay? So Falcon Allied Force has 2 avionics difficulty levels, simplified and realistic. The instructions for these training missions assume you've chosen the realistic avionics setting, which displays the most realistic radar modes. Figure 13-1. Let's see, does it show? Yeah, there you go. So the F-16 AN APG 68 can find and track targets that are within plus or minus 60 degrees of the azimuth, so left and right, and plus or minus 60 degrees of elevation, so up and down, from the aircraft nose, the F-16 nose. This does not mean that your radar can instantaneously search this volume of airspace. It means that your radar can point its beam and search a portion of the airspace within its physical limit. So basically what that means is it takes a little bit for the radar to search the airspace. The F-16 has several different radar... Oh, what the hell just happened? Tampa monkey, get rid of that. Get out of there. There must have been an update. Sorry about that. Okay, the F-16 has several different radar modes. Some for use within visual range, and others for beyond visual range. So, within visual range, ACM, and beyond visual range, BVR. Generally, ACM, or Air Combat Maneuvering, radar modes are used to lock the radar onto aircraft that are within visual range of the pilot, so you can see them with the eyes. The 3 middle buttons on the bottom of either display can be pre-programmed within avionics master mode. To switch between these pre-programmed modes, press left bracket for the left and right bracket for the right MFD. To display the radar, press one of the 3 middle buttons, example, on the left MFD. So, like these buttons here, so test, FCR, and stuff like that. In the next screen, you can change the displayed master mode. Right, for the radar, select FCR or Fire Control Radar from the list, so that the view shown in figure 13-1 appears. So this is what the Fire Control Radar looks like. Overview of air-to-air radar modes. To understand Falcon Allied Force instrumentation, you must understand the concept of master modes and sub-modes. All of the radar modes are controlled using this concept. First, you have to bring up a radar display on one of your MFDs. So, bring up one of these, okay? Switch to the 2D cockpit view by pressing the number 2 on your keyboard, as shown in figure 13-2. The MFDs are the 2 large square scopes that dominate the cockpit. So, figure 13-2. So bring the FCR up on the left or right, doesn't matter. If you want to switch them, you can either just like go in the menus and switch FCR on this one and it would turn this to blank, or you can just easy to make it easy, if you want to swap these, just hit the swap button right here or right here. Okay, to bring up the Bring up your radar. Select the FCR fire control radar as described above in the left MFD. Then select A-A or air-to-air radar mode by pressing Enter on the keyboard. So you can either press Enter on the keyboard or you can press this button right here that says A-A. Okay. Once you've brought up the FCR on one of your MFDs, you can cycle through the master and sub modes of the radar. Technically, the radar is a master mode. So like air to air is a master mode, air to ground is a master mode, navigation is a master mode, and a sub mode would be like CIM versus ACM and stuff like that, or scan types and stuff like that. Those are sub modes. But we'll get to that soon. Hopefully, if this documentation shows it. RWS, or range while search, is the default radar submode of the CIM or combined radar mode. Master mode. The master mode. Oh, so it is a master mode. Okay. The master mode. So disregard what I said before. The master mode is displayed on the top left edge of the MFD and can be changed with the button above it. So right here it's hard to see, but it says CRM right here. It's really hard to see. It says CRM. That's the master mode, okay. And the button above it, this one here, this OSB option select button right here, can be used to change it. It'll bring up a little menu here, where you can do this for CIM or this for ACM. So you can change the master mode that way, okay. Next to it, the sub mode is displayed. So the sub mode is RWS, range while search. Set both to CRM/RWS by clicking on the buttons above them and choosing the appropriate mode from the list. Alternatively, press F1 on the keyboard to change the sub mode. Once you are in a radar mode, change its operating characteristics by pressing F11 on the keyboard to cycle through the sub modes. In the case of the ACM master mode, F11 changes the pattern of the radar significantly. The table below shows how the FCR master modes and sub modes cycle. So RWS, LRS, VSR, and TWS. So the sub mode, so pressing F1, F11, yeah, F11, F11. Okay, so what this basically means is, well, let me read this first. Okay, yeah, no, let's not read this first because it goes into it later. So this asterisk right here means that it always starts in the plus or minus 6 degree sweep. So what that means is here, so plus or minus 6 degree sweep, so left and right and stuff. So these start, when you select the modes, they always start in the 60 degrees. Okay, so RWS, or range while search, so plus or minus 60 degree sweep, plus or minus 30 degree sweep, or plus or minus 10 degree sweep. So these are the options. The LRS, or long range scan, I believe it's what it stands for, plus or minus 60 degree sweep, plus or minus 30 degree sweep, plus or minus 10 degree sweep. So these are the options. So if you keep pressing the button, it will switch to these different modes here. VSR, or velocity, search, and range, I believe is what that stands for. Plus or minus 6 degree sweep, plus or minus 30 degree sweep, and plus or minus 10 degree sweep. TWS is the odd one out. Track while scan, plus or minus 25. So they always start in 6 degree sweep, right? So when you select them, they will start in 6 degrees. You press the option button once, well, except for this one. You can change it to plus or minus 25 degrees sweep for TWS, and plus or minus 10 degrees sweep for TWS. Memorizing this is not memorizing this table is not important. Not really. It's just showing you plus it's just showing you when you press the option button, the sub mode button, what it does each time, how it changes your azimuth scan. The B scope, RWS, range while search, LRS, or long range scan, and TWS, or track while scan radar modes are quite complex. But before you go into a detailed description of their radar symbols, you must first understand the concept of a B scope display. I don't know why it's called a B scope, but whatever. These modes present their data in a B scope format. A B scope is the best way to present the excuse me. A B-scope is the best way to present the information from the F-16 radar. So what is a B-scope and how do you read it? It's far easier to answer that question if we first discuss what a B-scope is not. A B-scope does not provide a complete overhead view of the air battle. A B-scope cannot show targets at all altitudes. Finally, a B-scope is limited in both range and azimuth. Figure 13-3 shows a B-scope and how it takes the F-16 radar and presents it on the scope. So figure 13-3, B-scope display. So this is essentially what it does. So in reality, this symbol here, like this is showing, well, let me just read this. Let's see. Okay. Notice in figure 13-3 how the, let me do that. Figure 13-3 how the angular beam, radar beam is pulled apart because at the base and spread along the bottom of the scope. So the radar beam is like spread this way, okay? And it's spread this way, okay? When looking at the B scope, the nose of your jet is not in the center of the bottom part of the B scope. The nose of the jet is instead spread along the entire bottom of the B scope. So the nose is like here, okay? So just imagine the nose just like, it's just widened, okay? So this is all widened. So the display is widened, okay? It's kind of hard to explain, but for example, a target that drifts straight down your scope to the bottom of the B scope is on a collision course with your jet and will collide with you if you are at the same altitude. So basically what this means is it shows like range. It doesn't show like altitude, it shows range. So like this one here is to the left a little bit, and if you keep going straight, this guy will pass you like that. But if there's a guy right here where my mouse is, and you just keep going and you're at the same altitude, he will pass, you'll crash into him. Figure 13-4 shows how this geometry works. And by the way, this is just what it actually shows, but this is like how it's visualized. Also notice in figure 13-4 that the beam is only scanning a very specific volume of airspace. It does not reach all the way to the Earth or up into space. The pilot must physically move the antenna's elevation in order to cover the specific altitude bands. The B-scope's picture represents a limited overhead view of the volume of airspace that the radar sweep pattern is covering. I'm afraid that is all it represents. For these reasons, the B-scope takes a lot of practice to use effectively. So what this means is collision course is coming down that way, okay? Figure 13-4. So what this means is, I believe, yeah, so your F-16's here, right? Okay, so your F-16's here, and this is like a target, right? So like basically, the collision course is this way, so it'll show the F-16 going this way. It's kind of hard to visualize which one's which. I believe this one is the one with the radar. So what this means is if you keep going this way, this shows, because this jet is in the radar scope, right? Radar beam. So it will show on this side of the radar B scope. So what will happen is, if you're at the same altitude and you keep going straight and this guy keeps going this way, you will eventually crash into him. Because again, the nose is like spread out across all of this, okay? Spread out across the entire B scope. It's not just in the middle, it's your nose is this whole thing, okay? All this screen does is it shows like the amount of like travel that the radar can travel, but the radar's in your nose. So if the radar can travel all the way this way and see something, and it can travel all the way this way and see something, it's still in your nose. So anything that's out here or whatever, and you're at the same altitude, you're going to have a collision course with them. So RWS, Range Well Search, and LRS, or Long Range Scan. Range Well Search, or RWS, uses a B-scope display and is the primary F-16 BVR or Beyond Visual Range radar mode. Range Well Scan is used to find targets and point the AIM 120 or AIM 120 AMRAAM, or Advanced Medium Range Air-to-Air Missile, and AIM 7 Sparrow missiles. I thought the F-16 could not use AIM 7 Sparrows. Maybe other blocks, I don't know. Long Range Scan, LRS, is designed to try and detect big targets at larger distances. As a trade-off, it scans a little slower than RWS. In these modes, you have several search options: range, azimuth, bar scan, radar elevation, tilt. Figure 13-5. Yep. Figure 13-5. This will go into it. In RWS and LRS, you can select one of the following range modes: 10, 20, 40, 80, or 160 nautical miles. Most air-to-air targets, however, will not show up on the radar until they are well inside of 40 nautical miles. As mentioned, LRS can detect larger targets from farther out. Decrease the radar range by pressing F3 or increase the range by pressing F4. Now it's worth noting, whatever your range is, it does not, the radar strength of your radar, the strength of your radar is pretty much infinite. It'll just go out infinitely. If you select 20 or 40 or whatever for the range, or even 5 or whatever you select for the range, it does not change the intensity of how much radiation the radar is putting out. The radar just puts it out infinitely, maximum strength, all the time. Okay. All this range does is change the display so you can see, further, so what you're visualizing or what you're seeing, but it doesn't actually change the intensity of the radar radiation intensity itself. So it's important to note that. The next search option is azimuth sweep. In RWS and LRS, you can use ±10, ±30, or ±60 search volumes. Figure 13-5 shows all of these azimuth sweep display options. When you reduce the azimuth sweep, notice how azimuth gates appear on the scope. You will not see the targets outside of these gates. Also in figure 13-5, note the range, azimuth scale, and bar scan numbers down the left side of the scope. Change the azimuth sweep of the radar by pressing F11 on your keyboard. So what they're saying, we'll go this way first, okay? So here's what it's at 60, right? So that's what the A stands for. It's azimuth. So it's 60. 6 means 60 degrees, okay? So it's scanning left and right all the way like this, okay? It's scanning like that, 6 degrees. This little T symbol is the radar itself. So the position of the radar in azimuth. So it's right, left, all the way across the screen here, okay? And note that that's the range, that's the azimuth, and this is your bars. So we'll get to that later. In this one, you notice the azimuth is set to 3 or 30 degrees. So the little t, the radar is not going to scan all the way like it did here on this one, but it's actually going to scan between these two blue bars, vertical bars here. So it's going to go here, and then left, stop here, go back, right, stop here, left, right, within the confines of these two blue lines, okay? So, and then finally, you have azimuth 1 or 10 with 4 bars and 20 nautical miles. Now the vertical bars are, closer together, so it's not going to do the 30 or the 60 even. It's going to go between the two bars, okay? So it's going to do left here, stop here, go back, right, stop here, go left, right, left, right, in between this, okay? Now you can slew the radar, so you can slew these two vertical white lines here. You can slew the radar, left and right and stuff in azimuth, and also in vertical, but we'll do that hopefully if it explains it. But you can change the azimuth, or not. Well, you can change the azimuth, but you can also change where the radar scope is looking manually by using the radar slew controls on your stick. So radar sweep controls. So that would move these two vertical lines. Your radar cursor will always be in the middle of these two blue lines, and when you move it, if this was to move left, if you were to left, these bars would shift to the left, with this cursor. So it's not like the blue vertical bars are smack dab in the middle or to the left or right. They're not permanently in this area of the screen, or even physically with the radar. You can slew these two vertical bars, okay? So, and keep in mind, anything inside these vertical bars is being able to be detected by the radar, so you can see these targets here, these contacts, but anything outside you would not be able to see because the radar's not scanning that area of sky. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Let me get a drink. I'm thirsty. Oh, and I'm back. Side note, I don't know if you guys have tried kefir, but it's really good. Well, I like it. Now fiance, she hates it. She thinks it's absolutely disgusting. But I love it because it's like drinking like yogurt, you know, and I love yogurt. So it's like it reminds me of drinking yogurt. So I'm technically having blueberry right now, blueberry kefir, and it's actually really really good. It's a bit thick though, like a thick drink, but yeah, it's okay. Okay, so moving on. In the F-16, you have 3 sweep options for the radar beam itself. You can select to sweep it straight back and forth. You can have the radar beam sweep one way and then step up a few degrees and sweep back the other way. And when it says step up, it means like vertically, okay? Or you can have it step up 4 times after each sweep. These bar scan options are called 1 bar, 2 bar, and 4 bar scans, respectively. The number on the bottom of the left side of the scope shows which option you have selected. Figure 13-6 shows how the beam is moved for each bar. Okay, so what they're saying is, this little B here, Bravo, you see the 4 above it. This means it's a 4 bar scan. And it's the same for each, okay? Remember, let's see. Remember that it takes time for the radar to complete a full sweep across the scope. If you select 4 bar, which is the most widely used, it will take longer, in fact twice as long as in 2 bar for the radar to complete the sweep and start again. That is why you have the different bar scan options. The drawback is that for a given radar elevation tilt, you are covering less altitude. This can be a major drawback, but must be weighed against your need for a fast sweep. As a rule of thumb, if you know where the bandits are, then select 2 bar. Normally, however, it's best to stay in 4 bar scan. Radar antenna elevation tilt. Okay, so let's just, look at 3.6 here. 13.6. Antenna azimuth and elevation scan coverage. So, radar beam bar options. So basically, it's kind of complicated. This here is not, these numbers here are not as important, but so let's just do this. 1 bar means vertically, the radar beam will just go left and right. At the same altitude, okay. Let's see. Do they have? Okay, so they would just go left and right, same altitude, and this T here, this vertical T, this T here, sideways T symbol, would just stay there, okay. So we just go left, right, not the radar beam will not. Oh, the radar beam and stuff will not go up or down at all. In a 2 bar, what it will do is it will start from here, go right, and then go down 2.2 degrees, about 2.2 degrees in elevation. And then when it goes back, it will go left, and then once it gets back here, before it starts going right again, it will step up 2.2 degrees again. So we'll kind of do this motion. So each time the radar dish goes left and right and hits the gimbal limit, physical limits, it will stop. And so in 1 bar, it will just go left and right and just do this, okay? But in 2 bar, it will go here, so go to its limit, then change in elevation, vertical elevation, by 2.2 degrees, and then go up, again. To go 2.2 degrees, go the other way, and then go up again, and then repeat the process. So 4 bar is where it goes. So this is kind of confusing, but what it means is in a 4 bar scan, it starts here, right? Just whatever this is set to, okay? It will start wherever here. It will go right. Once it reaches the gimbal limit, then it will step down 2.2 degrees. Then it will go the other way. Once it hits its gimbal limit again, on the other side of the screen, or vertical bars or whatever, then it will step down again, 2.2 degrees, and then go here. And once it hits it again, it will step 2.2 degrees again, and then go back. Okay. And then once it does that, then it'll go all the way up to the top and then start again. So it kind of does this motion. And all this means down here is, it's hard to understand, but all it means is, like, if you have your antenna azimuth, so left and right, set to plus or minus 60 degrees, then it will go the 60 degree travel. So basically do 60 degrees all the way over here, and then, you know, if it's a 1 bar scan, it'll just go right back. Same altitude, right? Or elevation. But if it's a 2 bar scan and we go here, all the way here, and then we go, well, it will go down. So T will go down a little bit, and then it will go, and then we go back. And once it gets to the other side, then it will go back up to the top and then go left. So basically, each time this T gets to like the edge, so the 60 degree limit here, from the center, 60 degrees. So it's 60 degrees from here to here, 60 degrees from here to here. So it's technically 120 degrees of travel. So once it goes to this side, it will hits the bump stop. It will change elevation, and then go to the other side, and then change elevation again to the top in a 2 bar scan. In a 4 bar scan, it will go here, change elevation, go back, change elevation again. Let me see. Hold on, just to be sure. Back, change elevation, change it again. So go here, change elevation, it goes here, change elevation, then change elevation, and then I believe it will go back up to the top. Basically, this will go down 1, 2, 3, I believe 4, and then back up to the top. Let me see. So you go, it's top 1, 2, 3, and then back up to the top, I guess. It doesn't really matter like how it actually does it. The most important thing to know about this is, about the azimuth, is that if it's 60 degrees, it will go, you know, the full display here. But if it's 30 degrees, then the same thing in the vertical elevation would happen that I explained. Same thing will happen, but instead of going the full travel of 60 degrees before it changes elevation, it would just go here, change elevation, here, change elevation, here, change elevation, and then go back to the top or whatever, what it's set to. And in this one, it goes change elevation, change elevation, change elevation, and then back up to the top or whatever, however it's designed. And then, so the important thing to know about that is if you have a 10 bar scan or a 30 degree scan, or a 10 degree scan or 30 degrees azimuth scan, and you have a 4 bar scan, it's quicker. It's a quicker refresh rate, so it scans quicker. So generally, you don't want a 4 bar scan and 6 degree azimuth because it takes forever. It's like it does the most sky, but it takes forever. So yeah, that's what all this means. Okay, most important thing to know is that when the higher the bar scan, the slower it takes to sweep left and right and scan the whole volume of airspace. Okay, radar antenna elevation tilt, and I kind of just explained this. The elevation tilt. The last option available is the antenna tilt angle. Figure 13-7 shows how you can tilt the entire search volume up and down. In the S16, you can tilt the elevation of the entire radar bar scan pattern. Press F5 to tilt the radar down. Press F6 to center the radar at the aircraft altitude. Press F7 to tilt the radar up. You can see the altitude that you are covering with the radar by looking at the radar cursors. So basically, let's see. We get 13.7 is this here, radar antenna elevation tilt. So when you tilt it up, the scan, this whole square goes up, and when it goes down, the whole scan area goes down. And, you know, again, if you sweep, what we're about to get into is that sweeping thing that I told you about. So when we sweep, you know, if it's a 30 degree scan, like this here, like where my mouse is going, then you can shift it left or right in this box, basically, if I understand that correctly. Yeah, because there's obviously a gimbal limit, so it can either do left, right, left, right, left, right. So it can either go the full 60 degrees, 30 degrees, or 10 degrees. It's really hard to visualize. It's kind of something you have to like play with. Cursor to, yeah, you can see the altitude you are covering with the radar by looking at the radar cursors. The radar cursors are two small vertical lines that can be slewed or moved in the B-scope display. So what they're talking about is these cursors here. This little cursor right here. These cursors are used to lock onto targets displayed. We'll discuss the radar cursors later. For now, let's get back to the radar antenna elevation coverage. Just to the right of the cursors are two small numbers arranged vertically. So it's these two here. Then these numbers show the top and bottom altitude of the bar scan at that cursor range. In other words, these numbers show the minimum and maximum altitude that you are searching within the radar at the radar range of the cursors. Figure 13-8 shows the radar cursors with the altitude numbers just to the right of the cursors. So it's figure 13-8, so these are the numbers here. So this is in theory. That's not exact, but it's in theory. So moving the radar cursors does not change your elevation tilt or increase the volume of airspace that you are searching. The numbers next to the cursors will change, of course, when you move the cursors up and down the scope. This is because the elevation of volume of the radar is angular. For a given bar scan, so again, it's a top-down view. Okay, for a given bar scan, you are searching a specific volume of airspace that is narrower, closer, and wider farther out. So it's kind of weird, but basically, the scan goes like this, remember? So way up here, so it's narrower here, and it's wider here. Okay? So keep that in mind. Let's see. This concept is illustrated in figure 13-9. When you move the cursors, you can see where the top and bottom of your elevation scan volume is at a specific range. So figure 13-9. So if you move the cursors, basically, it's kind of hard to explain, but basically, this 13 and 0 here, so what this means is, if the cursor is set here, let's just imagine the cursor is set the same position on here, right? Let's just say, it's not always the case, but let's just say. So in this, what it means, the zeros mean that at the very bottom of the scan, so here, down here, this bottom part of it, right? It's at 0 degrees, or 0 altitude, so basically sea level. The 13 means 13,000 feet, or Angel's 13. That means that up here at the very top is 13,000 feet. In theory, remember, it's theory. It's not exact, but it's theory. So, in theory, what that means is, with the current settings, whatever settings you have in this scenario here, that means, with a 4-bar scan or whatever, all that means is that you are able to scan in the current elevation tilt that you have, okay? The current elevation setting here, whatever it's set to. The current elevation setting allows you to scan between 0 and 13,000 feet in this scenario. So basically any targets that are at sea level and, 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet, all the way up to 13,000 feet can be seen on the current radar scope, okay, on the B scope. So that's what that means. Yeah, when you move the cursors, you can see where the top and bottom of the elevation scan volume is at a specific range. RWS targets. RWS, or range-bound search, targets start out life on the scope as small squares. They start out life on the scope as small squares, so when they pop up, they're small squares. Each time your radar beam passes over the target, another square is generated and displayed. It's not that simple, but this is all you need to know for this training mission. The old square that was generated on the last sweep fades as it stays on the scope for a few radar sweep cycles, creating what the F-16 pilots call target histories. These histories define the path that the target is taking down the scope. When you look at the RWS display, you may see many target squares, but remember they are not all targets since some of them are target histories. Figure 13-10 shows the RWS radar cursors. Targets on the scope and target histories. So figure 13-10 here. So use the radar cursors to lock onto the target. See the cursors over the target with up, down, left, and right, the radar slew keys. After getting the cursors over the target square, lock onto the target by pressing 0 on the keyboard. Or on the numeric keypad, apparently. When you designate a target, the RWS display will change to RWS SAM, or Situational Awareness Mode. So when you designate or press, well, technically TMS up once, or you lock onto the target once, you will lock onto the target in a soft lock or Situational Awareness Mode. So these are target histories. These dim squares are target histories, target history, current target. Okay. So I think these histories here, the target was gone or lost because there's no more squares. But you see this like really bright yellow square. That means that the target was before here, but now it's here and it's still visible on the radar because it's a bright yellow square. RWS SAM mode. RWS SAM is similar to RWS, but in SAM mode, or Situational Awareness Mode, the radar will track a designated target called bugging the target, while it still looks for additional targets. It's also called a soft lock. Because RWS SAM has to track a target, however, it can no longer search the same volume of airspace as before. For this reason, the azimuth gates will appear on the scope, showing reduced radar azimuth coverage. It doesn't matter what setting you're in, it will always do this, okay? A few other things changed beside the azimuth sweep. The biggest difference you will notice is that you now have a target designated. A TD box, or target designator box, or locator line appears in the HUD. And the square target symbol changes to an arrow-shaped target, with a velocity vector sticking out the nose. Next to this target is a number representing the altitude of the target. The radar cursors are still present, and you can use them to lock onto its different target. Figure 13-11. So what this means is when you soft lock, this is Situational Awareness Mode. The easiest way to notice that is because you have these bars here. These bars, if you were not in a situation, if you're not in a soft lock, these bars would not be here. You would just see this target. You would not see this target at all. Okay. But the cursors are still here. So you can basically move the cursors over here and select this target instead if you want. So basically the Situational Awareness Mode is good because you can have a target locked up, soft locked, and you can have a target soft locked and you can find information about it, like the speed and closure rate, but also seeing the other targets around, the target you're soft locked onto. Now you might be wondering, what is the altitude? It's 15. So although the top of the elevation scan is elevation scan is 17,000 feet and the bottom is 12,000 feet. Although that's the case, the actual altitude is 15 for this aircraft. Okay, it's the actual altitude is 15,000 feet. So when you do a radio call, it will show that the altitude is 15. Now, I'm probably getting ahead here, but this is NCTR, non-cooperative target recognition. And it's unknown because you're not close enough. The jet does not cannot analyze the aircraft and know what type of aircraft it is, like a MiG-29 or whatever. It doesn't know because it's too far away. And then this here is the degrees. So basically this aircraft is flying direct north. Okay. And this is your aspect, so it's basically 0 degrees to the right. So the R, just disregard the R for now. It's 0 degrees. So basically, it means that the jet is flying directly away from us. Okay, is what that means. Okay, so this vertical little velocity vector line here shows the direction the aircraft is pointing. If the line was here, going this direction, then the triangle would be kind of rotated a little bit and be going this direction. And by the way, to do a hard lock, you press TMS up again, target management switch up again, or lock a second time, press enter twice, and you will get rid of these bars and you will hard lock the target, but do note that you will not see this target anymore. TWS, or track while scan, pronounced TWIS, is a radar mode that tracks multiple targets at the same time. In RWS SAM, you can track only one target. So when they say track, they mean track like lock, only one target. Well, yeah, this is a track because, and technically in TWS you can only track, or you can only lock onto one target at a time as well. Um, uh, but basically what this means is you can track, like, when it says track, like, you can only, I don't know, I can't really explain it. It's hard for me to explain, but basically what it means is in RWS SAM, you are basically focused on only this one target. You don't have any information on this target, but except for, the where you can see it. That's basically it. In track or scan, though, you can track up to 16 targets simultaneously. That's the good news. The bad news is that you can't search the same volume of airspace in TWIS. TWIS only allows you to select plus or minus 10 degrees 4-bar scan or plus or minus 25 degrees 3-bar scan. So it is limited because you're tracking so many targets. The radar does not have the processing power to do it all completely, and plus it would be very limiting and slow if it did like 60 degrees and stuff like that. That would take forever. The other problem with TWIS is that the tracking data on each target is not as good as in SAM. You can track a single target in SAM more dependably than you can multiple targets in TWIS. To get to the TWIS mode, press F1 until you see TWIS or TWS on the MFD. In TWIS, you can get a target designator box on a target by designating or bugging a target, same way we did before. Even though all targets are being tracked in Falcon 4's TWIS, you still have to place the radar clusters over a specific target and bug that target in order to get your air-to-air missiles pointed at that target. After you bug a target, you will get a target designator box or locator line, depending on whether or not the target is in the HUD field of view on the target. VSR, or Velocity Search and Range. The last and certainly least radar mode is Velocity Search with Ranging. To get to the VSR mode, press F1 until you see VSR on the MFD. This radar mode changes the MFD from a B scope to a modified A scope. An A scope shows closure rate, also called overtake, so it shows like velocity and stuff. So it shows like, how fast you're closing, or going faster or slower than the target. Closure is simply how fast you're closing on a target, what I just explained. In VSR, you can select either 1200 or 2400 knots per hour closure. This means if you select 1200 knots on the scale on the left side of the scope, then a target that appears halfway down will be closing on you at 600 knots. Remember that it's just the display you're changing. You're not changing the intensity, or you're not changing the intensity or ability of the radar itself. You're just the radar beams and detection itself. You're just changing the display you're seeing. Okay. The VSR scope displays azimuth in the same way as RWS and TWS, but the scope does not display range. Okay, it just shows closure rate. Figure 13-13 shows the VSR scope with various targets. The top target's closure rate is approximately 1000 knots. The target lower down the MFD has a closure rate of approximately 200 knots. So basically what this means is... Wait, figure 13-12. Was that in there somewhere? Let's see if we get 13-12. Okay. Alright, that's... okay, so basic... Oh, okay, so it didn't actually say figure 13-12 was a thing. This figure 13-12 is TWIS mode. So this is what TWIS mode shows like, okay? As you can see, 30 degrees, 3-bar scan, and you can track both targets, okay? And you can see their altitude at least, okay? And then figure 13-13, this is the VSR, or Velocity Search with Ranging mode. So basically what this means is, at the top is 1200, or, let's see, yeah, 1200 knots closure rate, and this one is, as it said, 200 knots closure rate. So what this means is that this target, although it's closer here, doesn't mean you're going to crash into it. It just means that you're closing, you are going 200 knots faster than this target here. So, and if it's going towards you, it's, the speeds are like, basically this one is likely going away from you because you won't have like a 200 knot closure rate That's really low for something that's flying towards you. So generally, this guy's flying away from you, this way or whatever, but your speed is 200 knots faster than them, so you're catching up to them by 200 knots per hour, or whatever it is. And this one is likely flying towards us because it's really high up here. So it's 1,000 knots closing. So either we are going really fast, or they are going really fast. Either way, we are closing on them at 1,000 knots closure rate, so they are likely flying towards us somehow. Okay? ACM. The air combat mode. ACM radar on the F-16 is used to cue or point weapons. The BVR or beyond visual range radar modes can do the same thing, but are used to help you find the target. This is not true of the ACM mode. In most cases, when you use the ACM mode, you already see the target and are using the radar to point and fire a missile. The F-16 has 4 ACM submodes. Press 8 to cycle through these submodes. These submodes are listed below along with the mnemonic or label, or that is displayed in the radar MFD. ACM submode. HUD scan, 30 by 20. HUD scan, 30 by 20. Radar MFD mnemonic, ACM 20. So, and then vertical scan, 10 by 60. ACM 60, slew bore scan, 20 by 60. ACM slew bore sight is ACM bore. So what basically all this means is, if the MFD radar MFD up here shows ACM, so it won't say ACM. Well, okay, so it'll show ACM here and then 20 here, or if it was vertical scan 10 by 60, it will just show ACM here and 60 here. So all you will see here is a number. So the 20 right here means that you are technically in a HUD scan mode. If it just shows a 60 there, then it's a vertical scan mode. If it says slew there, right here, slew, says the word slew, then you're in slew bore scan. And if it just says bore here, then you're in bore sight. It's one of my favorites. Bore sight ACM mode, it's the easiest one to understand. All of these ACM submodes are directed at the target using the HUD. The bore sight submode points the radar beam straight out the nose of the jet. When you enter the bore sight submode, the HUD will display a bore sight cross that represents the radar beam. Figure 13-14 shows the bore sight submode with the radar scan pattern and the associated HUD symbology. So figure 13-14, this shows the bore sight submode with the radar scan pattern. Okay, so the radar scan, so this is what your MFD shows here. It shows bore here, it shows you in bore sight. This little cross thing here is your bore sight cross, okay? When you lock onto the target, you will get a TD or target designator box around the target. This box cues you to the target's position. When the target is outside of the HUD with the radar still locked on, the TD box turns into a locator line that originates in the gun cross. So basically what that means is the gun cross is right here. The line will show the direction of where the target is, but that only shows if it's outside the HUD. So the locator line points to the target. You can't see it in this one though. Bore sight is one of the most commonly used ACM modes because it's very precise. You can lock up at the intended target with precision due to the tight scan pattern of the bore sight mode. This mission should start in the CRM RDBS mode of the FCR, but if not, bring it up in one master mode slot on the MFD by clicking one of the 3 metal buttons at the bottom. Next, push the OSB button 1 above CIM on the top left. Change the CIM to ACM mode by selecting ACM on the left. Then press F11 to cycle through the ACM submodes until bore appears next to ACM. Vertical scan, ACM submode. The next ACM submode is the vertical scan, 10 by 60. In this submode, the radar is placed into a vertical sweep, 10 degrees wide by 60 degrees vertically. The 60 degree vertical sweep runs from 10 degrees below the gun cross to 50 degrees above. When you enter the vertical scan submode, the HUD will display a vertical line as shown in figure 13-15. Figure 13-15 shows the vertical line. So it's like 10 degrees below, and then 50 degrees above, or whatever it is, okay? And the reason it's above and not below is because if you're in a turning dogfight, and the target is, and you'll have your wings back 90 degrees, and the target is like above you, like up on where you have to put your head up to see him. This vertical scan mode can be very useful because it can lock up the target that's above your canopy and stuff like that. Okay, and that's what it shows here. The vertical scan submode is extremely useful because it can lock up targets along your lift vector. The lift vector, shown in figure 13-16, is a vector line that extends straight out of the cockpit. So lift vector up, lift vector up. So if you're turning dogfight in the basically this vertical scan will scan a little bit below, but mainly it's designed for all the way up here. Okay. Let me get some coffee. I'm a little tired. Hold on. I got coffee and some almond milk and some chocolate syrup, and it works wonders. Right, so where was I? Okay, so figure 13-16. So as I said, lift vector. Put this down here. Gotta be careful because I don't want to move it or spill it. Okay, so whenever you pull a target towards your nose at high G, and you'll do this often, you wind up pulling them along your lift vector. As you pull your nose toward the target at high G, you can use the vertical scan submode to lock them up before they get into your hood. Another use for the submode is when you do not have enough energy. You cannot turn at a fast enough rate to get your nose on the target. Use vertical scan in this situation to lock the radar onto the bandit and shoot a missile, even though you may not have the energy to point your nose at the target. To get the vertical scan submode, select the FCR and the MFD. Next, push the OSB button 1 above CIM on the top left. Change from CIM to ACM mode by selecting ACM on the left, then press F11 to cycle through the ACM submodes until 60 appears next to ACM along with the tight vertical scan pattern in the radar display. HUD scan ACM submode. The HUD scan submode is used to lock up any targets that are in a 30 by 20 field of view. This field of view essentially consists of the F-16 HUD of the Falcon HUD, as shown in figure 13-17. So here, 13-17. So this is what it shows here on the scope. Okay. So it's 20 there, ACM there. This is what it shows. Okay. This mode is the least useful of all the ACM modes because it is less precise and slower than the bore sight submode. In bore sight, the radar beam sweeps straight out, so it doesn't actually really sweep. It just like has a, it just like sends it straight out, like in a line basically. When it touches a target within 10 nautical miles, it immediately locks on. In the HUD scan submode, the radar must sweep a pattern to cover the 30 by 20 area. This of course takes time, and time is not something you can afford to waste in air combat. It is far better to go to bore sight and lock up the target quickly than to stooge around in the HUD scan submode waiting for the radar to find a target. To get to the HUD scan submode, select the FCR and the MFD. Next, push the OSB button 1 above CIM on the top left. Change from CIM to ACM mode by selecting ACM on the left, then press F11 to cycle through the ACM submodes until 20 appears next to ACM. Slewable ACM submode. The slewable ACM submode provides slewable or movable 20 by 60 scan pattern. When you enter this mode, this HUD shows a vertical cross, similar to the bore sight submode cross, but with one major difference. In the slewable ACM submode, a circle will appear somewhere on the cross, so right there, okay? This circle represents the center of the 20 by 60 scan pattern. Figure 13-18 shows the slewable ACM radar sweep. So 13-18 here. So this here. I'll explain it after I read this. God, it's a lot. And the associated HUD symbol. Slewable ACM is a very useful radar mode. It is very different from the other ACM submodes because it is not always used to lock up a target that you see. In fact, this is the only ACM mode that is normally used when you do not see a target. The primary use of the slewable ACM submode is to delouse a piece of airspace that you're going to fly into. Okay, for example, let's say that you have just bombed a target and turning to egress the area and head home. As you make your turn your egress heading, change to slewable ACM submode to make sure no balance in the area. You can move the scan pattern from level to high above your flight path and then from one side of the HUD to the other. You must do this slowly though, because it takes the radar time to complete the sweep. Using this technique, you have now swept the area close to you, clean of bad guys. You can now change to a longer range, non-ACM radar mode to look for targets. Another use for slewable ACM is when you have a radar RWR or radar warning receiver indication that a bad guy is nearby at a specific azimuth within plus or minus 60 degrees of your nose. Use slewable ACM in this case to find the target quickly. To get to the HUD scan submode, select the FCR. Wait, HUD scan. No, we are on the slewable submode, not HUD scan. Select the FCR on the MFD. Next, push the USB button 1 above CRM on the top left. Change from CRM to ACM mode by selecting ACM on the left. Then press F11 on the keyboard to cycle through the ACM submodes until a slew appears next to ACM. The two primary air-to-air radar modes used for finding BVR or beyond visual range targets are RWS or range while search and TWS TWIS or track while scan. Okay. So what that all means is basically you can slew the radar within the 20 by 60 scan pattern. You can slew the radar in that pattern, and you can see it here. You can slew the radar to try to find targets that are close to you. Okay, so that's what it shows on the B scope. That's just what it shows on the HUD. Okay. Training mission overview. This mission starts with the jet in the air facing multiple air targets of various aspects and ranges. You'll practice using the ACM master modes to lock the targets within visual range, and the other master modes to lock up BVR targets. Initial conditions. Airspeed 400 knots. Altitude 15,000 feet at mean sea level. Throttle setting mid-range. Configuration gear up 4 AIM-120s and 2 AIM-9s. Weapons mode nav. You must call up the FCR mode desired. Okay, mission description. This training mission presents multiple targets. Press shift popper to freeze the game. Not going to do that, it's cheating. Freeze mode has been included in Falcon 4.0 voice to help you learn radar and other complex F-16 systems. When you enter the training mission, the jet will be moving. To simply pause the simulation, press popper. This will stop everything. Unfortunately, radar is non-functional in pause mode. On the other hand, the radar and other avionics will still work in freeze mode. To exit freeze mode, just press shift popper again. The first modes to practice with are the ACM submodes. They're used to lock onto a target that can be seen visually by the pilot. Use the 30 by 20 HUD submode, the 10 by 60 vertical scan submode, and the 20 by 60 slewable ACM submode, along with the bore sight submode, to lock onto visual targets. The next modes to practice are the longer range RWS and TWS modes, or even VS if you want. Use the radar cursors and the radar elevation tilt to find and lock onto targets. Here are the steps to accomplish this training mission. Keep in mind that it may be best to accomplish this mission the first time through in freeze mode. Shift popper. Load training mission 13 air-to-air radar modes from the training section. From the 2D cockpit view, 2 key, make sure the FCR is shown in the left MFD. Press the OSB button 1 above CRM and select the ACM master mode. Number 3. The first ACM submode is 30 by 20 HUD scan mode. When you first enter ACM, no RAD or no radar or radiation will be displayed on your HUD and radar display. The radar is not radiating to allow you to select the ACM submode you want before locking onto a target. When you select the submode you want, the radar will automatically turn on. Well, maybe I want the HUD scan mode. Enter the first ACM submode. Enter the first ACM submode, the 30 by 20 HUD scan submode. Since multiple targets are out in front of you, the radar should immediately lock onto the first targets it sees without further action from you. You will hear your voice message system call lock. Cycle through all the ACM submodes by pressing F11. The ACM radar submodes are used to lock the radar onto a target that you see. The most useful ACM submode is bore sight. When you see a target, go to bore sight submode as you are turning to put the target in your HUD. Once the bore sight cross appears in your HUD, place the target under the cross and the radar will lock on. To lock on a target that is straight up your left vector and out of the HUD, switch to vertical scan submode. Slewable submode is the one exception to the ACM radar modes. Slewable is primarily used to find a target you do not see, but is close to you. In this training mission, however, you can practice using slewable by entering the submode and using up, down, left, and right to slew the search volume around. Try locking up the targets in this mission using slewable, and you will see that it usually takes longer to lock them up than it does in other ACM submodes. After first practicing with ACM submodes, press again the OSB button 1 to call up the CRM or combined radar mode, range while search mode. Okay? Submode. This mode is used to find BVR beyond visual range targets, but it will also display the targets that are close in. Note that in RWS, or range while search, LRS or long range scan, TWS, track while scan, and VSR, or velocity search with ranging modes. You can switch between these modes by pressing the F1 key. You can change the range scale in two different ways. The first is to press the OSP next to the range mnemonic on the left side of the FCR MFD display. The two arrows above and below the selected range scale increase and decrease the range. Another way to change the range scale, however, is to move the radar cursors to the top or bottom of the scope and keep going. This bumps the scale further out or closer in. Figure 13-19 shows the range scale buttons and how the cursors are moved to change the range scale. Figure 13-19, increase range, decrease range. You can either click this here because of the arrow here, and this decreases range. Bump cursors to the top of the scope, increases the range scale. So if you move this cursor all the way up and keep going, it will just automatically increase the range. If you take this and you go all the way down and you keep going, it will automatically decrease the range. Okay, that's what that means. Fuck, what was I? Figure 13 shows the range scale buttons how the cursor move to change the range scale. Okay, so 7. Change the azimuth sweep by pressing F11. Or by pressing the OSB next to the azimuth readout. As you change the azimuth sweep, notice that some targets near the edge of the scope will disappear since you are no longer seeing them at the radar. Okay, I'll show you all that. Number 8. Change the bar scan options by pressing the OSB next to the B or Bravo on the left side of the MFD. This button cycles the bar scans in RWS and VSR between 1 bar, 2 bar, and 4 bar. Remember that increasing the bar scan level will increase the elevation scan of the radar. In other words, you are searching more altitude. Number 9. Practice tilting the radar. These keys do not increase the search altitude. They tilt and move the entire beam up, which is the F5 key, level, F6 key, or down, F7 key. Figure 13-20 shows how the beam is tilted. Notice that when you tilt the beam, the altitude coverage numbers beside your radar cursors change. As you move the beam and give the radar time to sweep, you can detect targets that were not visible on the radar when the mission started. Number 10. Lock up targets on the radar by slowing the radar cursors over the target square using up, down, left, and right. When the cursor is over the target, press 0 on the numeric keypad once to bug the target. Press 0 again to lock the target. So the bug the target is the situational awareness mode or whatever. So it's the soft lock. Press 0 again to lock the target. Hard lock. Right. Radar elevation tilt. Figure 13-20. So it shows the tilt go up and down like before. Okay. This mission was designed for you to go through all the radar options and practice detecting and locking the targets in all of the FCR master modes. Okay, so that's that, okay? So we're not getting into actual firing weapons, we're just practicing the radar right now, okay? That's all of that. That was a lot of reading, but that's everything. So if we get 13-20, okay? Alright, so that's that. So what we're going to do now is start Falcon 4.0 Allied Force and start flying. And I'll show you everything, basically. So let's do it. Alright, so we are in the game. So setup, let's show that. So yeah, everything's good there. Let me just check the keys real quick, because I don't remember how to tilt the elevation. What is it? Fire down, center, up. Okay. Alright, just making sure. Just making sure I can, yep, TMS up, right. Alright, so that's all that. So that's good. Cancel. Alright, so tactical tactical engagement. Training. So air-to-air radar modes. Actually, before we do that, I need to check the labels. How do I do the labels again? View labels. Where is it? View sim labels, maybe? I don't remember how to look for labels. Or how to enable labels. I don't see labels anywhere, man. Oh. Control India, Shift India. Okay. Got it. Alright. Okay, so yeah, master all of the different radar submodes here Learn how to use azimuth and bar scan techniques to scour the skies for bandits. Commit. See what we are at. So we got some enemy aircraft there. Got some missiles there. We are I think Delta 52. Okay. Hopefully these guys don't attack me or anything. But yeah, let's do it. You can see these are enemies here. Hey, we're near Mendola. Nice. Alright, let's do it. It's gonna be fun. Alright, got some indications on the RWR. Alright, so we got some jets there. Right, so as you can see, we're not gonna attack or anything. As you can see on the scope, we have some indications, right? It's hard to see, but you've got some indications here. I'm gonna first do ACM. And ACM, what do I want to do first? Oh man. ACM, I'll do bore sight. So bore sight, you just, well, they're behind me now, so. Oh, what the hell? Oh, they're shooting at me. Fuck. Wow. They're trying to actually attack me. We haven't actually learned that yet. Fuck. Well, I didn't do anything. Oh god, we're gonna die. Oh god, I lost everything. I have no control. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, let me let me do invulnerability because yeah, that was kind of BS. Let's do invulnerability so we don't die. Yeah. That was yeah, I didn't realize they would start attacking us. It's not like DCS where you can like make them not attack you or anything. Alright, so we're in this. I'm going to keep it like this so you guys can see. So ACM, let's do bore sight. You can see there's some, let's see, control I. Got some jets there. So J6, put the bore sight cross, this here, on the jet, watch it all lock. So you got the target designator box, that square there, and you have it down here too. So, and now we lost the lock. So let me do it again from here. That guy's pretty far away. So these guys are trying to attack me now. It's a J6 there. They try to lock that guy up again. Watch when he gets in that cross, he will be locked up. Any second. Lock. There you go. So he's locked, and you see that line there? Fuck, I don't have a mouse. That line he had there. Try to get him again. Or the AN2, let me try that. No. Let's get... Yeah, I'm glad I'm invulnerable right now. J6, lock. You can see that Toxic detonator box there. That square there, that's the J6. And you can see that line when he goes out, that line from the gun cross says 9. It means he's 9 degrees, or 7 degrees now to the right, and in that direction of that line where the gun cross is. Okay. So I'm gonna let him go out of the azimuth.
Altitude.
Oh shit! He shot his buddy. Look, he shot his buddy. He shot his own guy. Bro. That's terrible. He shot his own guy down. That's funny as hell. Lock. Okay. So that's what that looks like there, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is and you can see it's here, right? You know, this is aspect degrees he's going north, and then speed and closure right. And then now we'll do 60, which is what let me oh no, that doesn't work. Let me do HUD scan 20. I just used TMS right to do that. So you should get a lock. There you go. There's a lock because it scanned it. And there's a lock there. You can see there. It's the same thing as before. Just a scan, right? Where'd the other guys go? Oh, they're all gone. So that's what that does, okay? And then vertical scan. That's the 30 by 20 HUD scan. Let's do the slew scan. So let me let me do the vertical scan. So see, he's to the left, right? If I dip my wings left, he will be locked up. Watch. See? Now he's locked. And let me undo it. And then that's the vertical scan. So HUD scan is that, as you saw. Let me go out of it. Slew. Alright, slew scan. Alright, so slew scan. Let's do the oh fuck, what are the radar cursor keys? I don't know what the radar cursor keys are. Shit. I don't know what the radar cursor keys are. Is it this? Yeah, there we go. I did it. Okay, so let's do this again. Slew, and then you can see the radar cursor keys. If I move it up, down, you see the antenna elevation move. Up, down, and if we go left, right, it moves the azimuth, right? So if I move it, and you can see the little circle there, is showing where it's scanning. So if I'm over here, and I scan all the way to the right, you won't see him. But if I scan to the left, watch, it'll lock him up. Well, it's all the way to the left, so if I just move over a little bit, it'll catch him. Should anyway. Why is it not catching him? He's within 10 miles. Why is it not catching him? There we go. That's weird. I don't know why it could not catch him. That is so weird. Fuck. There you go. That's so weird. That's the ACM stuff. Oh, that's kind of a bug. It shouldn't do that. So left. There you go. Locks him up. Okay. So that's what that does. Okay. And you can see on the HSD it's a straight line to him. Now beyond visual range, we get out of that by doing TMS down. So you can see he's locked up, right? You see that? Or not locked up, but you can see him in the RWS, right? You can see him right there. So all we do is, and if we do this, you can still see him, you know? Even if you go 40, you can still see him. But you go down, go here, wait till his altitude pops up, and then TMS up once. You're in SAM, situation awareness mode. So if we had other targets around us, we'd be able to see them here. I don't have an example of that because I don't know where the other aircraft are. Oh, they're all like. Okay, let me unlock this guy and go up here. You'll see they'll come up on the scope. And it should, this should be catching them right now. That's weird. Maybe it's not like, maybe it's. I'm not sure. That's weird. It should still catch him. But as you can see, oh well, damn it, hold on. Go 20. You see, there's a guy there, right? So you go up, lock him up, TMS up once. Now he's SAM locked. Okay. If you want to hard lock him, press it again. Now he's hard locked. You see, it's a straight line to him. If I go back TMS down once, it's SAM lock again. You can see, you can still probably, and the radar will follow him. See, until he goes out of gimbal limit, and when that happens, he'll use the lock. There, it's gone. Get these J6s here. Hope these J6s can get captured. Why can't I see these dudes? There we go. There we go. Okay, there they are. So you can see, obviously, there's the history there. Let me try to get both. Alright, so you got one there, one there. Okay, up, SAM lock. Got him, and it's really hard to see, but there's another guy right there, right next to him. Let's see if I can zoom in. Actually, we can expand. Normal. Oh, that doesn't work. Damn it. Well, usually you can be able to expand this so you can actually see, but we can actually. Well, we can't actually. That's a SAM lock, so you can see that there's a guy there, and you should be able to see another guy here next to him, but you can't. Apparently, it's not working properly. But you can hard lock him, and then you only see him. Okay, it's the strongest lock, and you can fire a missile this way or whatever. Okay. And then TWS, Twiz mode. Oh, LRS, almost forgot about those modes. LRS is long range scan, so you can just you can see these guys long range, and it's basically the same thing. There we go. Okay, got him. Come on. There we go. Long range scan, got him. And then we can do BSR, velocity search and ranging. See, we're not we are not closing that quickly. So if we, well, let me do this later. So let me do Twiz again. Oh, now expand works. Okay, there you go. So you see, if I move the cursors away, see you got both of these guys, right? If you do TMS, so you can track this guy, right? Or you can track this guy. And if you can TMS up once, you bug the target. TMS up again, you hard lock the target. And then you can also kind of go here. And that blinking red, let me do it again. That blinking, oh, what the fuck? Well, I can do bug, oh, what the hell's going on? Okay, that's one. Can also lock up. Oh, why am I not AWS? What the fuck? Twiz, there we go. I thought I knew what that was, but I guess not. Yeah, so you got that. And you can go left, bug the other guy. You can go right, bug the other guy. Okay. And you can hard lock them if you want, or you can just go back. And then you can also TMS right to switch between them. You don't have to actually bug them. You don't actually have to move the cursors and bug the one next to them. You can just, you know, do TMS right and it'll automatically just bug the other guy. You know, and just go back and forth. Now let me expand this so you can actually see. So you can see that this guy here is currently bugged. If I do TMS right, it'll bug this guy and still show this guy. Right, it'll bug the other guy. Left, right, okay? You can basically fire two missiles at the same time if you want. Now, if I have these guys go outside the gimbal limit, you won't be able to see them. Watch. Well, it actually tracks them, so it's gonna go until, it's gonna follow them until it's, you know, 60 degrees or whatever it is, or whatever the end is, okay? Yeah, and normal. Yep. So that's that. So that's Twiz. And then I'm going to scan. We did that. Velocity search and ranging. That's the last one. So velocity search and ranging. We're gonna speed up until. Yeah, there we go. So you see these guys here. We are in the velocity search range. So it's showing the velocity, not where they are. Okay. And it takes a while for them to populate. There you go. It's rougher than a populate, but VSR is different. You know, it shows how fast you're closing in on them. Yep, now they're populated. So let's do the scans. So that's what that does. So if you can go down and bug any of these guys. Soft lock. Well, actually, it's a hard lock. Okay, there you go. That's that. Alright, guys. Future Ice here. As I was editing the video, I realized that I forgot to explain one very, very important concept to you guys, and that is like the azimuth, like the azimuth, this button here. So like 60 degrees, 30 degrees, 10 degrees, and refresh rate. Super important concepts. So yeah, so let me do that real quick before we get back to the actual video. But so you see these AN2s up there, right? And you can see them on the radar scope. You should be able to anyway. And you can see, like, look how long it's taking to look at these guys. Actually, these guys are really high up. Let me go back to these guys over here. Let me go back to these guys over here, so that way we can kind of speed this up a bit. I'm just turning around. Some J6s, okay? See, they're on the radar scope, right? Look how slow it takes to update, or to for them to pop up on the radar scope. And if I go over here, look how long it takes for the others to pop up. You go to 40. Look how long it's taking. It's taking forever for them to populate, right? So the refresh rate is slow because the radar has to go left, right, left, right. It has to keep doing that. So it takes forever. Now, the good thing about it is you can see the whole scope. So it's the most coverage, but it's the slowest. So what you can do is do the azimuth, azimuth 30. Now, you can see it's the T just goes in between these two blue bars, and that makes it so it's quicker in capturing. The radar is quicker in capturing targets, as you can see here, right? It's much quicker. Now let's go down. So they should be capturing. I don't know whether. Because it's 8,000 feet. They're below 8,000 feet. So let's bring the radar antenna down. There you go. You see them, right? So they're populating a lot quicker, and they're updating a lot faster. Their position's updating a lot quicker, right? Because we're in the 30-degree scan. Okay. Now, if I was to slew the targets out of the blue bars, they will go away. See, they're gone now, and what you're seeing now is just the history. Okay. So let me go back here.
Altitude, altitude.
So now if I slew to the right, you'll see them again. See? They populated. But they populated a lot quicker, right? And it's the same thing if I was to turn all the way to the right and then go out of the blue bars. Now they're not gonna show up anymore. Watch, they're going away. See? And if I put them back in, they'll populate again. See how that works? So look how quickly they are updating, and you can still do the same thing. You can, like, team us up and all that. So it's literally the same thing. So and now they're not populating because we're low. So we need to take our thing and go back. Our internal elevation and go back to where it was supposed to be. Okay. Right, so ow, that fucking hurt. Ow, I bit my tongue. Oh, fucking hell, that hurt. Sorry, guys. Well, I did it. So yeah, they're populating now, right? So now, and it's the same thing in TWS too, right? You still have the azimuth scanner and everything, right? You can still change it. So RWS. Oh, that's not supposed to be like. Okay, there you go. Now let's do 10 degrees. So this is the quickest. You see how quickly this is antenna elevations changing, and how quickly this is going back and forth. Now, this is a 4-bar scan. If you do a 1-bar scan, it's going to be the quickest possible. Look how fast that is. Okay. The only bad thing about this is it only shows the aircraft, within that 3 to 1. So 3 to 1, 3,000 feet to 1,000 feet. So if we go down a little bit, we have to go down a little bit to catch them. See? We have to be perfect. There you go. Then they'll show up. But so we have to be perfect as far as the antenna elevation. But if you do 2-bar scan, obviously, you know, it's a little bit slower. And then 4-bar scan is the best one because it gets all of them, all the different elevations. Okay. So if we go outside, they'll go away. Go back in, they'll populate. We can go out here and do 30. They'll populate. One of them will anyway. And then to get both of them, do 60. But look how slow this is. 1-bar scan, quicker, but, you know, 2-bar scan, 4-bar scan. And you can see when you do this, that it changes. 1-bar, 2-bar, 4-bar. Okay. So that's the that's how the azimuth works. Very, very important. You want a balance of, like, the refresh rate is an art form. You want a balance of refresh rate and, you know, available contacts. Okay. You want the radar to be able to update as quick as possible. Okay. So ideally what you can do is just 30, put it in the center, 30, put it in the center, 4-bar scan. That's ideal. Because it's slow, but it's not super slow. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And again, remember, this little line right here is the center of the azimuth. So it's right now it's set to 6. So 60 degrees from here to the left, 60 degrees from here to the right. So it's 120 degrees scan total. If you do 30, it's 30 from the center to the right, 30 from the center to the left, or 60 degrees total. 10, it's, well, sorry, I made a mistake. It's 30 degrees from here to the bar. Okay, so from wherever the center of the cursors is, then to each in this setting, to each blue bar is 30 degrees. So 30, 30, and it's 60 degrees total scan. And this from the center to here is 10 degrees, center to here 10 degrees, or 20 degrees total scan. And then this 60, 60, 120. Okay. So that's how that works. I know I kind of spoiled you a little bit about the the 4 bars and stuff. I'll get to that in the actual video, like right now, because I'm pretty much done. So I just wanted to show you that, how important it is. Again, these numbers change as you go, you know, up and down, and as you change the range, you see the range. As you increase the range, these numbers will increase, like that. As you decrease the range, the numbers will decrease. Okay. All right, that's what I wanted to show there. Back to the video. All right, so now, let's show the bars. So this here, 1 bar, the T just stays in the center, or wherever you set it. If I go, let's see, where's it? Down. If I go up, you won't see them anymore because of, move the cursor. You see? 24,000, 21,000. They are not up there. They are down below. So if I move it down, back down, 11 and 8, right? So any target between 11,000 feet and 8,000 feet will be shown. As you can see, these cards are shown. If I move it all the way down, you won't see them anymore. And it just shows, oops. It just shows 0, 0, meaning you're basically going down below the ground, so you're not going to see anything at all. So you need to make sure the antenna elevation is either center or perfect. So that's the 1 bar scan. So it just shows, you know, that all it shows is that that altitude range that you have, okay? But if you do 2 bar scan, watch the T. It moves up and down. Let me go this way so you can see. Look at that sideways T. Okay? See how it's going down, up, down, up. Each time the T that's going left and right, that little blue T there, going left and right, each time that hits the bump stop or the side, that sideways T goes up and down once. Now if I do 4-bar scan, watch what happens. So it goes 1, down, down, and then back up. Down, 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 back up. Like that, okay? So it's a 4-bar scan. Now you can move it. You can go down, and it'll do a 4-bar scan down. And you can even move it up, or do a 4-bar scan up. Or you can just center it, okay? So you need to make sure all of this is set correctly, okay? So that's how all that works. Right, so that's all that. And as you can see with the azimuth, well, let me show you the azimuth. Let me actually go. So you can see he's currently going 10 degrees. So he's kind of going, he's basically going north. His heading is 010. His aspect is I believe that's 10 degrees right, is what that means. So it's 10 degrees right, 20 degrees right. So basically it shows the aspect that he is from me or whatever. Aspect is super hard to explain. It's a super complicated concept, but it's all like geometry and linear algebra and shit like that. So it's mathematics. It's tricky, but basically what it means is he's heading this way. He's not like heading straight away from you. He's like angled to the right. Now he's going straight away from me. Okay, straight away from me. If I turn to the left or right, sorry, then he's going to be oh, I lost it. Fuck. That's right. Damn it. It's kind of hard. I have to change the angle I am in relation to him. So if I like, let's see, there he is. Let me do a different guy. Why are these guys following me? What the hell? Let's see if I can get this guy. Where'd he go? There he is. Alright, look at the aspect. You see it's 0.87 left, so he's like... So it's 5 left, 4 degrees left, so he's like... My aspect is changing in relation to him. So now he's like, I'm behind him. Now if I go to the side of him... Oh fuck, I lost that. There we go. This is where vertical scan works. There you go. So you got that there, right? So now it's 40 degrees. I'm 40 degrees to the right from him, from his tail or nose or whatever. I forget what the Air Force does. Navy does it the opposite, but you can see like I'm 40 degrees behind and to the right from him. If I were to go behind him, it will turn to 0. Like that. If I was straight behind him, it would be 0. Watch. 1. Oh, it should be... Well, I'm 10 degrees to the left of him now. If I were to go straight behind him, it should be 0. There you go. See? Straight behind him. Now if I go... Why is he following me? Oh my god, it's so annoying. it's not your direction of where you're turning, it's more so your direction. So now he's like 90 degrees. Oh, fuck, I lost him. Well, anyways, it's hard to explain. Like, it would be so much easier if, like, hold on, let me, the only other way I can do it, if I was 90 degrees to the right, is to go, like, this way. And it doesn't matter what direction they are, it's your position in relation to them in a 360 degree circle. So they're going that way, so let me go this way. Should get the right guy. Got him. So now we're 70 degrees to the right of him. Okay. So we are, our aspect is, you can see if we zoom into him, we are basically to his right side by pretty much like it's 50 degrees now. Okay. It's really hard to explain. It's something you just have to play with. Okay. But that's the aspect. He's going 340 degrees right now. That's his heading, and he's currently going 240 knots, as you can see. Well, 220 knots now, and our closure rate is 76 knots, so we're going 76 knots faster than him. If we were to slow down, then if we were to slow down, then the now it's negative, right? The closure rate's negative, so it's now he's going, well, come on, man. Now he's going 30 knots faster than us because it's a negative sign, symbol, or whatever. And if we close on him, that number there will go positive like it is now. Okay? And just for fun, let's crash into him. Let's crash into him for fun. I will undo the lock. Goodbye, mate. Ah, missed him. Oh well. That's that. Let me kind of bleed off my speed so I can try again. Because I'm not gonna die, he will.
Warning, warning. Warning, warning.
That was actually pretty dope. The way I did that. So I have collisions on, so I'm gonna crash into him, and he's gonna die, but I'm not. Be like my first air-to-air kill with the jet instead of. Oops, hit something. Fuck. Oh, what happened? Oh no. What happened? What? Oh, my autopilot went on. What the fuck? I still don't have control. What the hell? What's going on? There we go. Autopilot was on. Sorry. Took my autopilot on by accident. Alright, there he is.
Warning, warning. Warning, warning.
Also, if you slide on the ground and you're invulnerable, you will still take damage. But if you like crash into the ground, then your jet will like wobble and shit. Damn. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. We're done with everything. We covered everything if I remember correctly. But as you can see, if you just go straight down like that, the jet will wiggle like that, and you'll lose control for a little bit. But if you slide on the ground and try to slide, I need to get to like a flat area for this. So we're in a flat area here. It's kind of a flat area near here.
Altitude, altitude, altitude.
There's the radar. Alright, watch. If I just slide on the ground, it'll, I'll still take damage and I'll actually fuck up the jet and I won't be able to take off again, watch. Oh. It did it before. I don't remember it, like... There you go, this should work. Oh, I guess they fixed it. I will say though, if you have your gear down and you're past 300 knots, it'll still break. Watch. Break the gear here. Oh. Did they patch it? That might have been what the patch was. The patch may have fixed all that. Okay, well... Alright. Never mind. Forget what I said before. What happens if I crash into the bridge? What happens if I crash into the bridge? Do I damage the bridge, but keep myself safe? I think it'd be fine, right? Oh shit, yeah. Alright. Alright, so, yep, that's all for this part, guys. That's all for the radar. We basically covered everything. Let me get out of the store here. Oh, my gear's... Oops. Screwing up here. My gear's still up. Oh, down. Pretty sure we covered everything. So that's all for this part, guys. If you liked it, smash the like button, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Farewell.